All right, we're back at the Woodward Dream Cruise. We have Dave here with us today. Dave has a first fuel injected Corvette right here. Dave, can you tell us more about your Corvette?
Okay, this is a 57 Corvette, and this year they first with a 283 of course engine, and they put a fuel injection on it about halfway through the year. That kicks it up to about 283 horsepower. It's got a 4-speed. It's got a 411 rear end. And other than that, it's a numbers matching vehicle. It's everything matches, and except one wire in there, because I had a shortage in the left-right system, and it wasn't charging. So it took us a year and a half to find that, but it was in one of the wrapped things. The wire had cracked, and we finally found it. So that wire is replaced by a wire off of a cord off of a lamp I had in the garage because I couldn't match that wire. But other than that, everything else is original in the vehicle.
But you got that matched with a lamp. Like that's,
oh, yes.
Yeah, that's great.
It's matched.
How long have you had this?
I've had it for 24 years. We bought it, I bought it in 99.
Okay.
This car was painted in 95. And
this same color?
It's the original color, yes.
Okay.
And during those times, I've had several shows I've been in, and they've come and said, hey, we're going to have to give you a ding on it because you have clear coat. I said, I'm sorry to tell you, but there is no clear coat on this paint, and where would you like me to rub? And I would, no, don't rub. I said, well, I will. So under the door, whatever, there it is, guy. That's the paint. So the next question was, who painted it? I have no idea. Came out of California in 95 through 2 auctions, and I bought it in 99. So it's pretty much an original. The interior, as far as I can tell, is original, although the carpets, I think, have been replaced.
Okay.
But the seats are still original.
That's unique carpeting, too.
Yeah, it is. But that's a matching. That's what it is. It's that special weave that they put in the cars those years.
So, and what color? Do you know what color this is? Because it's a unique color.
Well, I need to tell you the story of that, because when I first bought it, I brought it home. I brought my pictures home to my wife because I hadn't picked it up yet, and she looked at it and she says, hey, you expect me to ride in an orange car? I says, now listen, it's not orange. It's Venetian red. You understand?
Venetian
red. That's what it is. And the cove on the side, that's not white.
That's not, what is that, a cream?
That is a shoreline beige.
Shoreline beige.
Shoreline beige.
And when you look at it with the white with the
wall,
tires,
you can tell it's not white. Yeah. It's a very but they couldn't just call it ivory or anything. They said shoreline beige.
Shoreline beige.
So, and I guess the best story I have for this car is 5 years ago we were downtown Birmingham, and a photographer from General Motors came along, and he wanted to know, can I take pictures of your car? And I said, yeah, be my guest. So he's getting his rigs up and getting his set ready. He says, I hate this car. No, I said, you hate the car? You're taking pictures? Well, he says, that's probably the wrong thing to say. I've been taking pictures of automobiles for 20 years. Most vehicles have a good angle that shows the straight lines of the car, but other angles on the car are not so pretty. He said, on this car, there are no bad angles. 2.5 hours for photographing the car. And there are no bad angles. It is, wherever you look, you take individual pictures or whatever. Each is just stellar.
It is a beaut.
It's amazing.
So how often do you take this on the road?
Well, during the summer, we're probably out 2 or 3 times a week. We go to dinner with friends and that, and we've gone to Gilmore a couple times. But basically, it's not a grocery getter, I guess.
No. And this is a power top too, right?
This is a power top, yes.
So that had to be a fairly new thing when this came out.
It's all hydraulics. It sits under here. And there were, I think, about 20% of the vehicles that were made that year got the power tops.
Okay.
20%. There were roughly 6,200 Corvettes made that year, and only 670 with that fuel injection engine.
So this is extremely unique.
Yes.
Wow.
One thing I know about, you can't hide it.
What's that?
You can't hide this car.
No, you can't
I don't
at
care
all.
Where you park it, you can't hide it.
No, it stands out.
It does.
It stands. I mean, the color alone, Venetian red.
Venetian red, absolutely.
The color alone makes it stand out, and then the what is it? Offshore beige?
Shoreline beige.
Shoreline beige.
Shoreline beige.
Shoreline, that's so close.
Yes.
Shoreline beige.
Shoreline beige.
So
Yes.
Venetian red with shoreline beige.
Yes, yes. Firestone tires, those are not original tires, but they're made to the original moldings.
Well, it wouldn't be an event without technical difficulties, right? So we're back with Dave, and Dave is going to tell us about this fuel injection system. Dave?
All right, well, this is the first year for the fuel injection system, and there were 6,200 cars made, but there were only about 700 fuel injection units put in the car. But of that 700 and some, there were 50 of those that went to race cars. There were only 670 went into regular vehicles, and out of those 670, there were 4 different models, because the first 2 models were difficult to tune, difficult to start. Cold start's almost impossible. So most of the dealers didn't know how to tune them, so they took them out. Meanwhile, GM was working on with Rochester to make the fuel injection so it was more efficient. So this particular one is the number 4 of the 4, and is the one that will be used in the 58s. And the interesting thing is that when you push the pedal on this car, it does not impact the fuel injection system. What it does is it operates the clutch of the top, the automatic choke, and then it also controls the valving inside for the openings. That's all it does, because the unit runs off the vacuum from the engine.
Which they don't do anymore.
Right, but this whole system, although it's power pumped, but how it's operated, its valves and all the things in there all generate off of vacuum. So that puts it into the car. So we've worked on it. We had an issue once, and we had a bad filter. We thought the pump was no good. We checked everything out. We found we had a little filter about a side of a quarter was plugged. Soaked it for 3 weeks, put it back in, it runs like a top. So that's what's really unique about it. So we don't know really. There's nobody keeping records of when these cars are.
Right.
How many of these are, but my guess is based on when this was made and put together, there's probably maybe 200 of these vehicles with a fuel injection system in it. Probably in that range. The rest was scrapped. And there were numbers, we're numbers matching, which doesn't mean we don't have any numbers matching. We have dates matching. Everything is dated.
Yeah.
Some sort of a code on the date. So anything that was dated after the middle of May to the end of July would fit on this car. This was a July build.
Okay.
So that's how you would know whether it was numbers matching, is what the marks are. Now, some of the marks you can kind of generate yourself. The little plate on the generator, you can order that and make the date you want it, right?
Okay.
But there's a plate on the back of the radiator.
I see it.
You can see it.
Yeah.
That's dated. There's the blocks got mold dates on it. This fuel injection system has a certain tag on it which dates it. So from that information that we have, as best you can tell, if anything was made between mid-May and end of July on this vehicle, it would make this car numbers matching.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Pardon?
What's the name of the color?
Venetian
Red.
All right.
Right.
So thanks for telling us about this, Dave, and thanks for joining us and telling all the folks here about your wonderful Corvette you have here.
I would say, understand, I am the caretaker, and I think Chevrolet design, this is the prettiest vehicle they've ever designed. I mean, it gets raves from everybody.
No bad angles, right?
No bad angles.
All right. All right, Dave. If you want to say goodbye or hello to the people that are watching.
For those of you at home, you missed it. You should be here on Woodward to see what's going on.
Listen to the man, Dave. This has been Dave joining us with his Corvette, and I'm Dez. We're signing out for right now. We'll be back later.